We are joined now by our friend Chris Long, who once famously asked us on the show, and I would like to ask you now, what's your budget to come on the show? In the famous words of Cat Williams, do you know I can see you?
Oh, shout out to Cat, man. Yeah, dude, we obviously have Skype capabilities or whatever technology this is. I got a set here.
Yeah.
Super Bowl trophies.
No big deal.
I mean, I've got figurines.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
What more do you want? I have a taxidermy raccoon behind me.
Yeah, I feel good about all of this. You have great perspective on what I want to ask about, and that's Tom Brady, a guy who you played with in one of your world titles. And I know you're happy for him. What are you happy for him sort of accomplishing on the way out the door in New England?
Well, I think it's cool. I think it's very rare, Scott, as you know, players that play a long time somewhere. Certainly not 20 years and 6 championships later. Even the great ones don't get to leave on their own terms, right?
Right.
Generally, I mean, you're either getting cut or you don't have a choice in some manner. And Tom took matters into his own hands. He said, and I think it was mutual. I think, if anything, and New England's trying to spin it now, the state TV a little bit, that Tom left us. You know, if they were serious, I think they would have gotten something done. It feels good to know that a buddy leaves with class and grace, and he gets to go somewhere warm. I mean, he's been outside in the cold for 20 years. And it's a great place to play. You love it. Great guys in the locker room. But you're literally going from the hoodie to a red Kangol. It's just a different vibe. The beach, you know, Arians tells you don't miss stuff. You know, your kids' recitals, practices, be there. It's a far cry from New England. And I think he's going to be competitive down there. It's a good football fit for him.
Tom Brady's a dude, right? Like, guy's guy. Like, to me, that's as good a compliment as you could pay somebody to say it's a man's man. Tom Brady's that, isn't he?
True. He's absolutely a man's man, and he's down to earth. He treats everybody in the locker room great, which is why when you have a new guy like Tom Brady come in your locker room and you're a leader down in Tampa, whether you're a leader on defense, that top 5 defense that I think they're going to have this year, or some of those 1,000-yard receivers, or O.J. Howard, you know, the GOAT walks in the door and you don't know how to take it. You don't know how to ingratiate yourself to him. Tom's going to do it for you. When I walked in New England, I'm certainly not their biggest free agent signing, but I've had a good career. And Tom walks up to me and introduces himself as Tom. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I know. I know exactly who you are. I'm Chris. That's the type of guy he is. He treats everybody in the locker room great. He treats the equipment guys great. He treats the trainers great. He treats the fans great. And he left with class, and I'm happy for him.
You played with another guy that won a Super Bowl, Nick Foles, who goes to Chicago. And he's had such a bizarre and, you know, lucrative career in so many ways. I mean, like, I'll take his run. You get the money and you get the Super Bowl. Like, what does he bring to Chicago? What is he going to show up arriving with?
Well, I think Nick's one of those guys that when Nick gets hot, he's as hot as anybody. And, you know, obviously he has a Super Bowl MVP on his resume. He has a record-setting year in Philly. And I know you might not be able to differentiate those 2 years if you're a casual fan, but they're 2 different systems, 2 different coaches. So you've seen the highs. You know, the lows were Edward Jones Dome, St. Louis, Jeff Fisher-led offense, where a lot of quarterbacks, you know, struggled over a few years there. And we had some bad luck there. And then in Jacksonville last year, didn't play great. You know, Minshew mania, and that kind of leveled out. I think the big thing you have to realize with Nick and any quarterback, or most quarterbacks, is you judge them with the context they have around them. If you can surround Nick Foles with the right scheme, the right players, and that defense, I think it's a great signing. It's an upgrade. He's a guy who can handle anything. To play in Chicago, you got to have thick skin. My brother played there, I know. I think he's going to be just fine there. And guess what? You can't compare it to Jacksonville because it's a Kansas City, Philly offense with Nagy. That's where Nagy came from, the Andy Reid stuff. That's where Doug Peterson came from. I think Nick's going to have a really nice year. And they did something on defense as well with Robert Quinn, another old teammate. They pulled him, and I think that's going to be a huge pickup for them to pair him with Khalil. It's a speed rusher and a power rusher. It's good to pair guys like that.
I'm going to ask you this because I know you want to talk about it, whether it actually makes a show or not. I don't know, but I know you like what Cleveland did. Why?
I love what Cleveland did. It's kind of like the Godfather thing. You know, you think you're out and they keep pulling you back in. I really do like the Stefanski hire. You know, a lot of people threw him in the mix with a lot of guys who seemed to have relatively not earned their opportunity. He had been in Minnesota for a long time. He was the longest tenured guy there, I think. You know, he's going to run 12 more than anybody. That's what we know about him. And guess who came over as GM? Barry from Philly. They're going to build up front. That's one thing that Stefanski probably wishes he had more control over in Minnesota. They never had a good line. They started out with Jack Conklin. They bring in Hooper. That's not bad news for Njoku. They're going to get in 12 personnel. They're going to run the ball. They're going to take shots. It's going to be good for Baker. They've got receivers. They've got running backs. And they have 4 offensive tackle possibilities in the offensive line if you want to continue to solidify that. So I hate to breathe hope into Cleveland, but I'm back on the bandwagon.
All right, on the way out, anything you want to promote? You do a lot of stuff. I mean, anything, just where should we find you?
Yeah, I got a podcast like every other human being on the planet at this point, and we're doing a lot of ranking and stuff. I mean, we've run out of stuff to talk about. It's been free agency and the new Jay Electronica album. That's what's getting me through. Check us out on Greenlight Pod on Chalk Network. That's my little podcast.
All right, and maybe I'll see if we can get like a deep V-neck or a turtleneck or something. If you want to come on TV again, maybe we'll get that working for you.
Yeah, this is my Rasheed Wallace, so shout out to Sheed.
Shout out, yep, ball don't lie. That's Chris Long. Chris Long, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time, brother.
Thank you, dude.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.